Welcome to this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford studio around 1 o'clock as we are hitting the start time. Lane Kiffin's Zoom interview was about an hour ago or so, mostly weather-related, not a ton else from a news standpoint. So we'll talk about that a little bit, what the different options are for Ole Miss and Alabama, and we'll hit a few other things over the course of the next hour and a little bit as well. A lot of content at rebelgrove.com. Go check that out. Neal's mailbag is up. There is a story on Tywone Malone that's getting plenty of message board chatter as well on the old message board, so you can go see that as well. He's a top 50 national prospect, wanting to play football and baseball at the next level. I wrote about Ole Miss's football program today, and there's a pretty good bit more. So that, as well as Neal's notebook on the weather, which we will discuss in a second at the sister site, if you will, rebelgrove.com. So again, go check it out. Very cheap to subscribe, participate on the message board, and the like for an annual subscription there. We're coming to you from the Clark Ford studio. Before I tell you about that, I'll tell you about the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Remember, on Saturday, weather permitting, because I assume the game day has a lot to do with it, Lane Kiffin bobblehead. If you have not gotten one, you still would like a chance. You can do that from 8 to 5. You go into the Oxford Exxon. You just get something from the hot case. You get some item of barbecue. When you do that, you get a bobblehead on Saturday there with the Oxford Exxon. You also pick up lunch specials for $5.69, 2 sides of bread, 32-ounce drink, and more. And again, we're in the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. That's get into a Clark Ford today. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll prove that to you when you make the call, 662-257-1900. Guest will join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters on the Square is open. You can go check out Major League Baseball playoffs today. We're about to watch Braves Marlins Game 2 from Houston, I guess is where they are. And there's baseball on throughout the day, and then probably the final NBA game of the season tomorrow night. There's also football tomorrow, and then football throughout the weekend at some point, weather permitting, at different places. And you can catch it all at Rafters on the Square in Oxford. Rafters on the Water is open, and Rafters New Albany as well.
I think it's just a touch of zoom is what it is on my camera. Like, we're all good. It's fine. But I think that's what I think at some point. No, I think it's not on the actual camera. I think it's just a touch of zoom. It's probably what
on the actual
camera. We'll fix
gotcha.
it. It's all good.
Gotcha.
But I was just kind of staring at it, and I went, you know what? Okay. All the merch has been ordered. It should ship very soon. If it is not, everything is on schedule following the end of the pre-order. So you should have gear very soon. That question there in the live stream. Yes, I do have my Jackson State cap on. I told everybody I was going to get it. I followed through on that. So I did like Dion's cap, so we made a purchase there. A lot of caps because it's kind of weird to wear headphones without a cap on. It kind of bugs me a little bit. So on days that I think might have headphones on, I typically will have a cap on my head.
I've gotten to wear headphones just about every day just to hear the sound. Sometimes people make comments about the sound, and so I'm trying to
kind of know what's up with it.
Well, a little bit. The one that I get a lot is I need to speak louder, and this is just how I speak. I can't make myself do this consistently.
But that's mostly a speaker thing, right? We just need to turn you up a little bit, right?
Yeah, and I've turned myself up a little bit, and so maybe that
compressor, though, is working really well, so it is bringing you back down a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You don't jump up very much, so.
Yeah, so it's almost like we have equipment and stuff.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Shelby says he listens to us on 1.5 speed. I can't do that. I know a lot of people do that to get through podcasts, but I don't know if it means I don't concentrate well. I don't know what the reason is, but I cannot listen to a podcast on 1.5 speed. It has to be just one in a normal conversational direction.
Have you listened to Bush v. Gore yet?
I have not.
I listened to it yesterday. I walked the dogs yesterday afternoon for about an hour and listened to it. It's good. It's the first one that I've been a little disappointed in.
Because there was so much there they could.
Well, I had looked forward to it, and it kind of.
You listen on 1.5 speed?
No,
okay,
not usually. Sometimes I'll listen to some things on 1.5. If it's something someone's telling me I need to listen to, and I'll do it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But no.
Ian Anderson on the bump for the Braves. We're kind of watching while we talk here. Braves did come back and score plenty of runs yesterday to win that baseball game. We were saying that it was not over when it was 4-1, and it was in fact not over. We talked about this on the board too. Ronald Acuna gets hit yesterday. He was all annoyed. He had been hit 21 times in his major league career, and 5 of those are by the Miami Marlins.
It's a lot.
They appear to hit him more than anyone else. Well, they don't appear. They do. They hit him more than anyone else. So.
Well, and it's one thing when you just get hit. It's another thing when they clearly are throwing at you because you hit a home run.
And they were clearly throwing at him, it appeared, at that point.
Yeah.
So, especially when they hit him a lot anyway.
Yeah, I thought that was stupid at the time.
Well, it was.
I mean, just turned out you just fired them up. I don't do that. The weirdest thing I saw yesterday was an announcer who works for the Padres. And so he was calling a Padres game from Petco.
Okay.
The game was not being played in San Diego, though. It was being played in Arlington.
Sure.
And so
but he was just in his home booth.
In his home booth, he's got all of his stuff in front of him. And so he's watching the Padres game. But when he swiveled to his right and looked out over the playing surface of Petco, it's the Yankees and the Rays.
Oh, that's weird.
I mean, he was like, this is peak 2020 right here.
That's incredibly strange.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, I was like, that has to be just.
It would take a minute to get really used to that.
You'd have to
not look up at your field.
Well, you'd have to make sure that you had noise canceling headphones, and you just kind of blocked that out. Otherwise, I mean, you'd be like, oh, there's Giancarlo Stanton. I'll watch him hit for a minute. Oh, I need to be watching. I mean, that's a lot. He did a really good job, though. Apparently,
were they scattered? They weren't like starting at the same time, where you run into an issue of like 8th or 9th inning in both places.
No, I don't think it was like that. But it did cross over some.
It's so weird. Anyway, we got a weather situation coming. We talked to Reynolds Wolf yesterday from the Weather Channel. You can go back and listen to that if you did miss yesterday's show. Lane Kiffin, like I said about an hour ago, was asked about the weather. He said there are 4 options at this point in his mind. Friday, Saturday is scheduled, Sunday, or November the 7th, because these two teams do share an off week, so that would be a possibility at that point.
And they technically could move it to December the 12th.
But I don't see that at all happening.
I have not heard that, but that would be an option because as of today, they both have that.
And the season has well. The SEC schedule has a mulligan week in its schedule. They want it to be COVID related, but it's there.
And you could move it to December the 12th and play it only if necessary. Only if it mattered to a championship race.
And I think that's why you move it to November 7th instead, is just to try to maximize playing opportunities for all teams. Because they still want to leave. Because your problem you get when you do that is who knows what happens in 2 weeks. And then those two teams don't share bye weeks. You go, well, hell, if we just done November 7th instead of December 12th, then this thing could have gone to December 12th and everybody still plays their 10 games and it all works out. I've heard more momentum, momentum's not the right word. I've had more people assume that Sunday would be more likely than Friday, because I really don't see Friday either, but Neal had a good point a minute ago. Friday allows you to pretty much miss the weather, whereas Sunday you're traveling in it potentially. We don't know exactly when this thing gets here, what the rain looks like. If you're really just trying to make sure the game is played and we don't have any sort of weather issues from a traveling or a safety standpoint, Friday does make more sense because that's when this thing is hitting Louisiana or hitting the coast or wherever it comes in at. It's going to take a minute to get this far north.
So I've been watching it because I was writing about it a little bit ago, and what they're saying is the storm is in the – I wrote all this today. It was the first time I've written the words Yucatan Peninsula in years. I was kind of excited. So it's in the peninsula now. It's going to get in the Gulf later tonight. They're talking about a Friday morning landfall on the Louisiana coast. So here on Friday, there's a 70% chance of rain, high of 70, cloudy with periods of rain, potential for heavy rainfall, high near 70, chance of rain about a half an inch.
Okay.
You get to Saturday, tropical storm conditions possible, windy with periods of rain, high of 72. Winds east-southeast, 25 to 35, chance of rain, 100% rain, possibly over 1 inch. And then you get into Sunday, and it's cloudy with occasional rain showers, high of 78, chance of rain, 60%. Here's the thing about Sunday is I guess you could play it late enough Sunday where Alabama traveled day of. Now,
Sure.
I don't know if, does the storm create road damage? Does the storm make it difficult for Alabama to get in, Alabama to get out? Does the storm make it such that law enforcement personnel type people don't need to be at a football game because they need to be doing other things?
Sure.
All of those things exist for a Sunday game. If you play Friday, and I guess it's conceivable that in the morning you could tell Alabama, hey, look, you're playing tomorrow afternoon. I'm sure they'd be a little pissy about it, but everybody's dealing with it, right? I mean, it's 2020. I mean, it's another curveball. What's the damn difference? They could even travel early Friday morning and not stay anywhere.
Because they'll for sure come back. I mean, go back to Tuscaloosa after the game.
Yeah.
So it's like on Friday, let's say you play at 4 o'clock for the hell of it.
Sure.
You're home by 11:30, midnight.
Yeah, I mean, they could bus in, play the game, bus out. And in many ways, if I'm Nick Saban in Alabama, I'd rather play a day early knowing I've got Georgia next weekend. I'd rather go ahead and play it, have an extra day of rest. Who knows? Look, the SEC, it got rumored yesterday, and I guess it was made official this morning. I think it was pretty official yesterday. The SEC looked at this and said, Baton Rouge is going to be a mess. Let's not even try. More than anything, it was there's no way to get Missouri in here safely. Let's get LSU out of here. I think LSU's leaving tomorrow and going to Columbia, getting out of it. They'll play the game at 11 a.m., and then LSU will, by the time they get back to Baton Rouge, the Storm will be out of South Louisiana. So that makes sense for them. And people say, well, why didn't they just wait and play it Saturday night? Well, all the reasons we just mentioned. You've got this on a football game that could be used to help people. And then how do you get Missouri into Baton Rouge safely on Friday? Why would you risk that? And why would you have Missouri fly in on Thursday so that they can be there for landfall? That's dumb, too.
That makes no sense.
So you just move it. And it's like, well, it's just this is such a lost year in so many ways. It's all about, and we talked about this all summer long, which turned out to be prescient. It's all about getting the TV money. The rest of it is immaterial.
How do you pronounce Missouri's field? Is it Faurot Field in Missouri? Is it Faurot or like Faro?
I don't know.
Faurot. I know how to spell it.
I guess it's Faurot.
Is it Faurot?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, just kind of curious. They're talking about the Saints are contemplating playing at the. Is it still the RCA Dome? What is it? No, what is it?
No, it's
what's it called? Oh, Century.
Something oil field.
Yeah, it's oil field.
Lucas Oil.
Lucas Oil Field. Was RCA Dome their really old place?
Yeah, it was the first one.
Okay, whatever. That's good marketing by RCA.
I covered basketball and football at RCA Dome.
Yeah, they haven't played in the RCA Dome since 2007. But
yeah, I covered
Lucas Oil Field. Yeah, that's it. Stadium.
I covered their final season opener at not at RCA Dome because Lucas Oil was being built at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Somebody says it's Faurot. So okay. Yeah, Saints are contemplating playing their game against the Chargers in Indianapolis because, as Neal said, one empty dome is as good as another empty dome, so it's fine, whatever. That is Monday night. They have not made a decision, but the Saints would fly out sometime, potentially even practicing there later in the week, and then play on Monday. So there's that from a weather standpoint. Otherwise, not much. He did not really indicate one way or the other that Mark Brett would play any more this weekend than he has in previous weeks, if he's even played at all. I'm not sure.
He really didn't even answer it as it pertains to Mark Brett, which tells me that Mark Brett is just not on the agenda right now.
Yeah, it was a non-answer.
The question was about Britt and Clowney, and he answered about Clowney just saying he just got back. I presume from injury. And he's not ready.
And basically just said no on Britt. But he didn't even say no.
Didn't even say it.
Yeah. So my guess is if you've got an over-under on Mark Britt snaps on Saturday, I'd take the under. That's the way I would do that. They're fine COVID-related again, it appears, so far. One more test this week.
That's what he said. No COVID positives so far this week. I guess they tested today.
Yeah, it'd been Monday and today.
And they'll test again on Friday. And then go from there.
Yeah. Not much Saban stuff today. He was on Dan Patrick. He did the little media tour this morning for that.
It cracks me up so much. He does Dan Patrick.
and he's great.
And is a completely different person.
He's like excited to talk to Dan.
Than he is
he's
with
hanging
us.
out. He and the Danettes just chilling.
He's like, people are actually watching this, and now I got to go talk to these bozos, and I don't want to. I mean, the T-shirt could just say, "I don't want to talk to you." I mean, the answers are like,
that would be a really good T-shirt for him to wear.
I'd laugh. I was laughing throughout today. I was so glad that my mic was on mute because I was laughing at his answers and non-answers. And
he answers. He's honest, but there is zero even care to look pleasant as he's doing it. It's just fine. All right, cool. All right.
And I don't think it's shtick. I just think he knows we can't do anything for him, and it's like, screw him. I'm doing this because I kind of have to. They're telling me I have to.
I think he's fine with it. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. It's fine.
He was kind of like, he was jovial talking to Dan this morning. I mean, it was like hanging out, telling stories.
Well, Dan is a little bit better interviewer than any of us schmucks.
Well,
I'll say
especially when it's rapid fire. I mean, because like he's got a COVID question, then he's got something about travel, and he's got something about Mark Britt. It's like there's just no continuity or conversation.
And it wasn't on today's call, but on our Monday call with Kiffin, we've got people who have yet to pick up on Kiffin's not going to answer your hardcore football question. So quit asking it.
And he's not going to answer your
He's not going to answer it. So stop asking it. And when people ask it, he gets kind of, ugh.
It does change his mood.
It does.
It decreases his mood.
Yeah. He was fine today because he's like, yeah, we're talking about weather. I understand why you're asking about weather.
Yeah, he's fine today.
Yeah, he was fine.
He doesn't mind the one COVID question.
No.
He minds 5 COVID questions. He doesn't mind one COVID
Well, the question today, which was, have you guys gotten a report?
It's a note, all good. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets it.
Because what if you go, oh, well, actually, we have 27 positives. Well, okay, we know that.
Yeah.
Great. So, yeah, that's fine. Sorry, I'm laughing. It was fine. That was pretty much it from a Lane Kiffin standpoint today.
That was it. There was nothing more. He was asked about the 2 Canadian kids.
He is making me laugh, which he might believe it, but his shtick, even he did it on Twitter today when he was quote tweeting somebody else's story about calling this Alabama's best team ever. He just does it over and over and over again. Because he even put a smiley face behind it on Twitter today. Where he's like, he's like, I'm not, look, best team ever. Nope, they're number one program in the country. We're not saying anything. We're gonna joke around on Dan Patrick. We're gonna say Nick's getting a little elderly, but we're not gonna do that. But Alabama, all good.
The elderly thing was funny.
Well, because he's such a good deadpan coach. Because Dan's like, I mean, when's the last time y'all talked? Do you text? And Lane's like, yeah, he didn't text. Like it's just like, come on. Like,
but he doesn't text. I mean, that's true, according to everybody who knows him.
So he doesn't communicate with people very well.
And most people say that the email's not really him. That he's got email now, but other people are doing his email.
Of course.
And I don't think he's the pick up the phone and check on people guy.
You know, he gets up every morning and goes, you know what, I'm going to pick a former assistant today. We're just going to call and see how they're doing.
I don't think so.
Just ask about Mom and them.
I don't think he's Pete Carroll or Dick Vermeil or someone like that.
Dick Vermeil.
I don't think he's touchy-feely.
Think Pete Carroll does that?
Yeah, for sure.
How you doing? Cool.
Yeah, like I bet Pete Carroll and Kiffin talk.
Kiffin's mentioned that before
on the semi-reg.
Yeah, that he's fairly tight still with Pete. Pete's got a machine going right now in Seattle this season. They're doing all right.
So proof of something here. I'm going to show you. I talked to our friend Blake Kokenauer today at Blue Delta Jeans.
Yep.
And let me set it up. So we had some camera issues last week, like a lot of camera issues. So I think this is going to work. Let's see what happens, Chase. Blake, if you're watching, this is proof that I'm at least trying. So I found there it is. Found a 3-person deal. You guys will get a little tour of the studio here because we found a way to do the Blue Delta Jeans segment where you can actually see the jeans and not just like our crotch. I mean, I'm sure there's nobody out there that's interested in seeing that. But you're getting a little tour of the studio. So we got the Braves game on right here, Braves, Marlins. Here's the big computer. I won't turn it that way. Here's the big computer, and there's Chase, and there's the equipment. And I had to have someone sit in for Chase this morning while I was playing with this, so our thanks to Murray the Moose over there for his assistance in today. Murray, you can file a W-2 or a W-9 or whatever for your compensation. $10.99. So see, it works. It works now. It won't work Saturday because something will go haywire, but here's proof, Blake, that, by God, I'm trying. So there you go.
Gosh.
All right, so I'll get out of that screen.
Congratulations.
I know. I was pretty pleased with myself.
Good. Oh, Lord. Let's see what we got going on. I will tell you about Tunes Around Town. It is Friday from 5 to 7. That's October 9th around the square in Oxford. Weather permitting. Let's pray that the weather doesn't come in crazy early and just drown us out for 4 or 5 days. But the event's designed to allow you to walk, catch a short performance, and when one ends, the next one begins somewhere else on the square. So you grab an ice cream, explore the shops, or pass the time while you wait for your table for dinner. It is a free event, and there will be musical performances in front of Oxford Creamery, in the Breezeway by the Growler, at Visit Oxford, and by Spring Street Cigars. So all over place, 4 different ones there. Again, 5 to 7 on the square, and that's presented to you by Visit Oxford.
We are also brought to you by, let me get that screen up. There it is. We're also brought to you by Heritage Properties. It's home to 3 communities in Oxford, Faulkner Flats, Cambridge Station, and Lexington Point. All 3 properties are multifamily housing. They all offer on-site management and maintenance. They're pet-friendly. They offer short-term leases as well. Lexington Point, located less than a mile from campus, has spacious 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartment homes, free cable and internet, covered parking, and much more. If you move in October, you can get November rent free. Find out more about that by getting in touch with them at 662-234-4558. We're also brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue is your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylists hand-select pieces from top designers. From work to lifestyle to nightlife, there's the perfect someone for everyone. The Rogue has all the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, and more. And Duckhead has returned to The Rogue. The return of this icon brand remains true to its roots by producing garments of enduring quality and timeless style. So check out The Rogue, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or at therogue.com. We're also brought to you by Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James. It's a team in Jackson providing planning and investment guidance to clients across the state and surrounding areas. Financial advisors Bill Geary, Logan Phillips, Chris Carrero, and Ryan Geary are partners with a commitment to personalized service. So call them at 601-368-2215. See if they might be a good fit for your Raymond James and Associates, Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC. And we're brought to you by the law firm of Bain, Moss, and Bowen, PLLC, located in historic downtown Corinth. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss, and Bowen is the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched in that regard. You can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620. As Chase mentioned, we have a lot of content up at rebelgrove.com. It's part of the Rivals Network. You can sign up today for the same price that George Washington signed up for in the 1700s. So it's a great bargain. And if you get that, you can see my mailbag, which is brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. Whitney sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes, and you can get in touch with her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844.
Think we make anybody mad doing that every day?
Doing what every
The
day?
Rivals price thing? Think we annoy anybody?
It probably irritates some people who might listen.
You think so?
Maybe.
I've never gotten an email about it.
No, I've gotten a little sarcastic comment or two, but mostly people realize that
mostly in good fun.
That it's mostly in good fun. It's just some slight version of shade.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, you could increase profits by going to $12.99 a month.
You don't think you'd scare people off?
Not many.
I don't think so.
I think it would be a net gain.
You don't think you'd lose 25% of your people from going to 20?
Do you stop buying milk when they raise the price 6 cents?
I couldn't tell you the price of milk.
There you go. That's my point.
The number of things that probably just automatically come out of my account a month, I probably couldn't even sit here and tell you all of them, if I'm being completely honest.
I know that's the case because I sat down and cleaned up some stuff fairly recently, yeah.
And was like, why am I paying $8 for this and $17 for this? And
absolutely.
$4.99 for this.
Why am I paying $9.99 for this or $7.99 for this?
And you cancel some of that?
I did.
Okay. That's fair. know, I actually know the answer to that. Somebody asked what happened to Logan Lowry. He's back doing pharmacy tech stuff, I believe. I think he's back just
is he?
out of journalism. Yeah. Wrote about Kiffin's program, really about Ole Miss this morning a little bit. I mentioned on the podcast on Saturday night. Cole McCarty called in on Saturday night and said some of the same kind of things that I wrote about as well. About Ole Miss fans had fun on Saturday, and it's not just that. I feel like several things to unpack here. I feel like since 2016, Ole Miss has had to find ways to have really fun days or really fun weeks or maybe even a couple weeks in a row. But there wasn't a program stability or a consistency or a direction that made them just kind of have fun in general. You know what I mean? Where, you find your bright spots, but they just haven't been quote unquote an SEC program, period. There's always been something else.
Yes.
Whatever day that wanted to start. And I said you got several options. You've got maybe right after the Sugar Bowl in January of 2016. Maybe it was when Shea Patterson got hammered by Vanderbilt the week after having his pretty miracle win at Texas A&M. Maybe it was January of 17 when the second NOA came and just all hell broke loose for the next 11 months or however long it was. I don't know. Take your pick on any of those. But since that point, Ole Miss has been the SEC team with probation. They've been the NCAA team. They've been poked fun at over the Leo Lewis thing. They've had all sorts of stuff go on from a fan base that, frankly, created so much scar tissue over the years that we've talked about.
Well, they were the Hugh Freeze thing.
They were, yeah.
And then they were the Laramie Tunsil, Darth Vader marijuana mask thing.
Yeah.
Even on a night when it should have been a big night for them.
There's always something.
3 first-round picks. It was all
laughing stock
Laramie.
It's been a cleanse. It was going to do a couple things, and I wrote this. It's one thing Ross did get right. He said, hey, every day that we get through the NCAA thing is one day closer to us not talking about it anymore. Now, here's the problem with that, is Ross did not have any capital remaining to build trust in the fan base. None.
Mm-mm.
He was completely out. He and Michael had no capital for that at all. Keith had to prove himself, still proving himself in some ways, but had to prove himself, but was not so close to it that he was stained by it. There was not this, hey, you're part of this ecosystem that created all this NCAA distrust. I mean, he's just over here raising money, like whatever. I'm the head of the foundation.
Looking back on it, no one who sat at the podium at the hostage crisis was going to make it.
All 3 were out.
I mean, when you think about it, and I mean, I can't sit here and say I said that because I didn't. But looking back on it, that video was so ill-advised.
Even the lighting was bad. Like it looked like there was one bare light bulb right above them, just shining down.
And I mean, I'm not picking on any of the 3 people, but there was a 0% chance, given that anybody was walking out of that alive. I mean, it was done.
And you're able to kind of, look, Ross had to go. It was good for both parties. He had no chance of completely rebuilding here.
No.
He frankly gets fired, gets a better job at or not fired, but he leaves and gets a better job at A&M. Matt Ball was a huge face in this. He leaves for Auburn. Somehow he's handling compliance for Bruce Pearl. If he'll explain that to me, I'll never understand, but that's where he's at.
Well, let me just tell you who's handling compliance for Bruce Pearl.
Bruce Pearl?
Bruce Pearl.
Okay. You don't think Matt calls him every 10 minutes when he sees something, relays it all?
He might. And I'm sure that Bruce's secretary politely takes the note.
I'll pass that on. Thanks.
And then that note goes into something resembling a flame.
Okay. Lee Tyner, he had no ability to stay after that. He leaves. I'm not even sure where Lee's at. I think he was at TCU at one point. I don't know what he's doing now. And point being, placing people that, people around the program pretty much believe in. I mean, Julie Owen's very respected in compliance circles. I've talked to multiple coaches who think, hey, fair, tell us when we're getting over the speed limit. Let's figure it out. I mean, that's kind of how that job works.
But just understand that you have to speed.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I
mean, this is
because Matt would have at times, hey, the speed limit's 45. You got to go 38. It's like, well, okay, hold on.
No, in all seriousness.
Yeah.
The speed limit was 65. He wanted to put a governor on the car that stopped it at 64.
Yeah.
And that means you got run over on the interstate. And so you got to have somebody who can say, you know how when you're driving and one of your kids will look up and go, hey, Dad, you're going too fast? And you look up because your mind was somewhere else and you're like, hey, I'm going 83. I probably don't need to go that fast. And you back off a little. That's what you need compliance to do. Not to look over at you and go, you're going 68 in a 65. Well, hell yes, I am. And in fact, I need to speed up.
Yeah. 74 does not get a ticket.
Yeah.
So let's figure out 74.
So 74 is my new baseline, right?
Yeah.
Now I got to decide on occasion, on this particular stretch, is it worth it to go 82?
Yeah. Hey, if I get caught going 82, can I just go to traffic school and get that knocked off?
Absolutely.
Or is that a problem?
That's the deal.
What's up?
And
How
so
does
you
that
need
work?
compliance to be that. Because if you're sitting there going 64 in a 65 the whole time, you're never going to get a ticket, but you're never going to get a title either. Because I'm just going to tell you that ain't happening. You're not getting those kids. Not happening.
Yeah, J.M. says, why do you say KC wasn't as close as anybody? He was not in decision-making for this. I mean, Keith was completely separate from decision-making from an NCAA standpoint.
For a lot of times, he was just in a fundraising.
Yeah.
I don't mean just in a fundraising, but he was fundraising.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He had no administrative, hey, what are we doing today with the lawyer standpoint.
Maybe at no point.
Yeah, which is great. That was necessary.
Yeah.
He could not have – because, look, it's the benefit Matt Luke didn't get. Look, no, I didn't even mention Matt Luke in my column this morning, but – you know, Matt never had a honeymoon. He was part of the Freeze tenure.
Grind
part of the old regime.
says Georgia's going 100. Yep, they're moving.
That's
pedal to the metal.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that Georgia knows how to slow down. Georgia's Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
Just going fast.
At some point, it's going to crash into the wall, but until then, it's just going to.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You do think Georgia crashes? Not to get you off track. You think?
Well, I mean, do I think they're going on NCAA probation? No.
But you think they crashed this car into a wall and turned 3 somewhere?
I don't think he's going to win a national title.
Okay.
Which means it's a failure. Because that is the baseline at Georgia right now with the way that they're operating. You either win a title or you don't, and that's a success or a failure. I don't think anything less is satisfactory to that fan base of what they're doing. I don't.
No, the ROI is going to have to be a title.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Look. Nobody's outspending Georgia right now. I mean,
nobody.
Yeah, with all due respect to Michael Joe, I mean, like,
no one is.
Yeah, look, Keith came in where the Q rating wasn't very high. You know, a lot of people said, "Hey, you're this is what did it," but in all 3 sports, made pretty good moves. I mean, he was a part of the Kermit Davis search. Didn't extend and then did extend Mike Bianco at probably the perfect times on both sides. He runs a really good coaching search that ends up with Lane Kiffin. Mike Norvell was number 1. I think Ole Miss got lucky, frankly, not getting Norvell. But they didn't get Norvell. They move on to Kiffin. They get Kiffin, and while I don't believe in him whatsoever, his third choice was still an SEC head football coach in Elijah Drinkwitz. Somebody else did hire him.
Whoa.
I mean,
listen.
I think
I'm with you on the
prayers above. But
I'm with you on the Keith Carter thing, but I got to get real. I mean, I'm. If Keith Carter hires Elijah Drinkwitz because they decided that they just couldn't do Lane Kiffin,
yeah.
The conversation we are having right now
is not happening.
Is 1,000% different. He's in witness protection right now. That was not doable.
I still think Elijah's bad Hugh Freeze. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think.
You do remember the Friday that Ole Miss announced that that Lane Kiffin was getting done. Whether they announced it or not, I don't remember. But when I broke it, do you remember that Friday afternoon?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, you tell me that turns out a different way, and you tell me that anybody outside of Bill Belichick is acceptable.
Well, frankly, that probably should have been A1 on what we're talking about with Keith Carter. Is he fought through a lot of pressure to get that done?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying, hey, let's not get too flowery here. Let's get right to the meat and potatoes. The deal is on that Friday afternoon, not getting Lane Kiffin was not acceptable.
Yeah, and a lot of athletic directors at Ole Miss at that moment would not have been able to get it done.
I agree, or would have
cowered down and went, okay.
They would have wilted.
Because, yeah,
I know. That's where you can't say it.
It wasn't just Jimmy and Joe hanging out and going, "Hey, I don't know if this is a good idea." I mean,
no, it was. There were some heavy hitters on that.
Yeah.
Now they've all since changed their tunes, but
yeah, of course.
They were singing that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no idea. One of the questions I would have if I could put truth serum into people was, did they at any point have any traction? Were you resolute all along, or did at some point you go, man, I don't know. What are we going to do?
And I don't know that answer. I don't know.
I don't know that answer either.
I'm not sure what the hour-to-hour of that day was.
All I can tell you is that on that Friday at noon, if they had not hired Lane Kiffin, it was a ball game.
And I mean, Keith's the one that told me that we were barking up the wrong tree that Billy Napier was never even in it. It was Drinkwitz third. Yeah, man.
Couldn't have done it. Wouldn't have worked. I'm just telling you, it was.
Drinkwitz would have been soured here from almost the beginning.
Yeah.
It had no chance.
No chance. I'm telling you, anybody outside of, I'm trying to think who you could have said.
I mean, Norvell would have been fine.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about if you didn't get, even by Friday, they didn't want Norvell. They wanted Kiffin.
The fan base.
Yes. Go back and think about that Tuesday night, that Wednesday, that Thursday. The momentum surge for Lane Kiffin.
It was huge.
It was massive. Among whom? Young people.
Well, yeah, because I don't remember who Ole Miss was playing. Ole Miss had a basketball game that Tuesday or Wednesday night. I don't remember who they played.
I can't recall.
Was it Butler?
That beats me.
I think it was Butler. No, it wasn't. Was it Butler?
Whoever it was, I was on the phone the whole time.
Yeah, who gives a damn? It doesn't matter. I went to the basketball game, and I got caught by 4 or 5 people walking into the game, and they were terrified that Ole Miss was going to hire Will Healy because it was the Will Healy day. And I guess this makes your point. It's like there was no hey, how about this up-and-comer? No, it's Lane freaking Kiffin. That's it.
So you think I'm being hyperbolic when I say this. Had it not been Kiffin, it would have had to have been someone like Sean Payton to make it go away. I'm totally serious. I mean, you would have had to go, hey, Lincoln Riley decided to leave Oklahoma, where people go, oh, okay, well, I get it now. I'm in. I'm just telling you, you could not go get one of those other B-list guys and try to sell it. Nightmare.
And Keith listened on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Lane was pretty resolute from the beginning. Sunday, Monday. I mean,
he was.
He wanted Ole Miss's ear.
But it didn't get immediate traction.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Ole Miss owes the football gods, the schedule gods that FAU had a championship game to play, and probably owes the Arkansas boosters being weird.
Because they were?
They were indecisive.
Yeah.
Because some of them, to their credit, we'll see if it works or not, by God, wanted Sam Pittman. That's who they wanted.
And they couldn't get on the same page. It's one thing that Ole Miss, other than some power brokers that we mentioned a second ago, from a booster donor standpoint, they were pretty they had a pretty good traction on Kiffin the whole time. Like Arkansas keeps having this problem where the Fayetteville and the Little Rock people just hate one another, and they can't. It's almost gotten to the point where one group likes somebody, and then by God, I'm out just because y'all like them.
Kind of like the Jackson and Memphis people hate each other here a little bit,
but on steroids to an extent that's not even fathomable.
Well, that Freeze thing was about to get weird.
Yeah.
Let Hugh Freeze coach 2017 and watch the Memphis-Jackson rivalry heat up. Blake says, I went back and watched, Neal. You were saying 100% for sure Matt Luke was staying another year, and he was until that Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
I mean, now look, Blake, if I could have had the football gods come down and tell me that Ole Miss would lose the Egg Bowl the way that they lost it, maybe we'd have a little different conversation, but I don't remember anybody predicting. So here's what's going to happen. If you did, good for you, but I didn't.
Point being, I mean, we could do this all day, and we might, but point being, Ole Miss hired quality people. The staff they have is the best top to bottom staff that I've covered.
That's
in 15 years.
To me, this is a bigger Keith Carter thing than going out and getting Lane Kiffin, because by Wednesday or Thursday, Keith didn't have much choice.
Yeah.
Where I give Keith a ton of credit is where Lane Kiffin said, I want to hire DJ Durkin.
And he said, okay.
And he goes, okay, let's dig into it, but okay.
Yeah. Let's go steal Chris Partridge.
Yeah,
let's figure out how.
Let's put the staff together.
Yeah. Let's figure out if we want Kendall Briles or Jeff Levy.
Yeah, that's where I give Keith credit. He's not only am I going to hire Lane Kiffin, but I'm going to give Lane Kiffin the tools to get this done.
And to this point, you know when you're getting Lane and what you're getting, just get out of the way. Like, you might have to bite your lip a little bit, but just do it and move on. You know what I mean?
Dansby Swanson hits a home run, 1-0 Braves.
They really hit.
They really do. I catch myself more and more relieved that this is the Marlins and not the Cubs in this series. I'm kind of.
You would have a really hard time right now.
I was just kind of done.
Were you really?
The fact that I got over that, I was over that loss by 30 minutes after it was over. It was probably a sign that I was kind of finished.
Yeah. So.
But that's where I give him credit.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, if we're going to do the Keith Carter credit thing, I'm good. But that's where I give him the credit is not only did he stick to his guns, but then he said, okay, I'm going to let you do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, look, general counsel standpoint, Erica McKinley replaces Lee Tyner. I mean, she has a pass with the NBA Players Union. Like, there's a lot of stuff there. Like, They went out and just hired people that other SEC schools consider and hire in a lot of spots, or people who have proven them to be capable in those areas. And I said this, it got pointed on the message board too. Ole Miss fans are not some of the most difficult people to please in the world. They're not a top-level SEC fan base from being a complete and utter shit show standpoint.
No.
Like Tennessee or in Georgia.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's, hey, act like an SEC program, act like we've been here before, hire quality people, show some leadership, show some foresight, and when we show up on Saturdays, let us have a chance. We don't have to be favored every week, but give us a shot to win the game today.
So you're saying compete?
That's it. Literally, that's it. Compete.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, of course, the expectations in 15 were higher than they were in 12 and things like that.
Sure.
That's elastic, and that's going to move around for any program.
Sure.
But it's not this crazy, no, it's just show up.
Well, it's like I was on WJOX this morning with Ryan Brown and Jim Dunaway and Lance Taylor, which is, by the way, such a good show. My God, it's a good show. I don't know how I got on it. Anyway, they put me on it, and we were talking, and they asked me a question about expectations this weekend, and I was like, there aren't any. Nope, nobody here expects anything. I said anything within, 30 points. If they cover the line, that's better. But not really, none. Everybody here gets it that Alabama's worlds ahead of Ole Miss right now. That comparing Ole Miss to Alabama right now is not realistic. I said in 2 weeks, you might be able to gauge a little bit more when Ole Miss plays Auburn. And I do think that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't sense anybody going into this game here going, hey, Ole Miss can win. I've not heard one soul say that. There's reality. And, you don't get – a lot of fan bases will never go there. Tennessee says hello. I actually think Kiffin's going to be given time. He said it. He keeps saying it over and over, and I keep thinking, you're getting it. Because this isn't, it's going to take –
They want to score some points Saturday.
Sure.
But nobody's going to walk out of that stadium and go, my God, we blew that. Like, no, come on. Like, and even if you get beat 55-10, okay.
Yeah, sure.
It didn't work. We're going to be
Whatever.
all right. Yeah, play Arkansas next week. Go beat them 2-2.
Absolutely.
Go take a shot at Auburn. Beat Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean, this is the
Hey, South Carolina's gettable. Let's get that one.
This is the freest of free shots.
Oh, dude, I mean, pandemic year Alabama in front of 16,000 people. Yeah, that's about as
Whatever.
Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, look, Lane can go 3-7 and still go to Liberty Bowl. So it's
So what do you think they're going to be bowls?
Here's the problem with the bowls. There will be some bowls. Some, though, can't sustain it from a money standpoint. If nobody's going to travel and you can't put people in the stands, I mean, these bowls lose money anyway.
Yeah.
So you can't lose a ton of money. I don't know. There'll be some. There won't be a ton. That was a legendary thread with the guy that couldn't figure out how to post the pictures on the message board of Kiffin and Jimmy Sexton leaving Wilson Air Center or whatever it is right there by the airport in Memphis. And that's a good point. Once Keith got on a plane to Boca, it was over. It's probably over before that, but it was definitely over at that point. So, podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So you're getting local underwriting and understands your market, a leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Sorry, I got distracted there by something that popped up in the thread. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
We're also brought to you by Bluff City Advisory Group. They're dedicated to building the future you desire. Founded in Memphis in 2019, their team is comprised of established and seasoned financial experts who came together to serve individuals and families of their beloved hometown. The firm is built on decades of wealth management experience, and they've seen it all. Their financial advisors have a reputation for professional excellence, and their clients rely on their high level of confidence and integrity. All you got to do is get in touch with them at 901-365-3447. Let them serve as an advocate and guide to grow a portfolio that is fruitful and sustainable for you. Also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB has a commercial checking account now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. Comes with fully interactive online banking. They can set up any local business to deposit checks from their office and not have to worry with coming to the bank daily to deposit those checks. More than likely, any business owner at another bank is now paying a monthly fee for their account, and they're most assuredly not making 1% on the money. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And we're brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, look no further than Grenada Nissan. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And we're brought to you by John Edwards Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about a golf trip, anniversary trip, just want to get away, there are deals to be had in this COVID environment. A lot of people just trying to fill rooms. You can get rooms at resorts that normally would go for $1,200 for as little as $250. Let John help you find those deals if you're looking to travel. All you got to do is give him some parameters, give him a budget. He'll give you options, and you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email at jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
SIP rep card asking, was he actually going to go to Arkansas or just using them? He would have gone to Arkansas, but he wanted to go to Ole Miss.
He 100% would have gone to Arkansas.
He was done at FAU one way or the other.
Yep. He was had Ole Miss backed out and Arkansas offered the job. He was going to Arkansas 100%. No doubt.
They like Sam Pittman.
There were people that liked Sam Pittman. Yep. And Lane preferred Ole Miss over Arkansas. Thought that for what he wanted to do, which is win big nationally and recruit nationally, he thought he could do it easier at Ole Miss than he could.
And that's true.
Arkansas. Yeah, of course. But he was absolutely going to take one of the SEC jobs. Yes.
And Arkansas surrounded Pittman with great coordinators and good staff. And
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, Barry Odom's a hell of a football coach. I know it didn't work at Missouri, but he's
Kendall Briles has some baggage because of the name. Hell of a football coach.
Well, I mean, he was on Lane's list here. I mean,
yeah,
they're all related, know each other and all whatever. But I mean, thought it was a comment in our YouTube, but it was Ole Miss sending out the Lane Kiffin video interview from today. I was confused when I looked at my phone.
Oh,
I thought I was getting a pop-up comment, but it was not. Cool.
I don't have an update on Luke Altmaier from SIPREP, but I don't have one. As soon as we know something, we'll write it. We're not sitting on it.
Feels determined, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to happen. I don't know when things get announced.
There's no rush.
Kids are funny about that. Sometimes schools say, hey, wait, or whatnot. I'll say this. If I'm a kid in Starkville, Mississippi, and I'm going to sign with Ole Miss, I'll wait till the end.
Take the days out of that.
Yeah.
Is it as bad when State's not even in it?
No.
This isn't AJ. This isn't CJ.
It's still easier, though.
Yeah.
To go play your high school season, not as the Ole Miss commitment.
Quarterback commitment.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a difference.
Yeah, especially when you're doing what he's doing, 6 touchdowns a week and whatnot.
He lighting everybody up.
Yeah, he's legitimately really good.
Yeah.
And he is an example of where this staff is going to be different. Is it going to work? I don't know. We're going to see. My opinion is it will work, but we'll see. They could have taken the kid who's at Houston now. He committed to Houston. His last name was Kopp, I think. They liked him. Good kid, big arm, had a bunch of offers. I think wanted to go to Ole Miss. I think they just said, you know what? Not quite what we want. Is there a possibility that decisions like that come back to haunt you? Yep, sure. Absolutely. Those kind of decisions sometimes do come back to haunt. But you got to stick to your guns. If your attitude is we're only going to take guys that we believe can win big at this level, can play against the Alabamas and the Auburns and the LSUs of the world. If that is your philosophy, you cannot deviate from it just because one kid says no. You have to keep your powder dry and save that scholarship, use it in the transfer portal, use it whatever. You have to make up your mind. We're only going to take national kids who we think can play. Okay. And then if it doesn't work and you all get fired, it didn't work. But you can't do the half-ass thing. That never works. Never. Okay, well, we're gonna try for this kid, but we're going to give him a deadline of Thursday. And if he says no, then we're going to take this other kid that we really don't think can play, but,
He's a body.
He's going to make Jimmy Joe over there in Natchez happy. That doesn't work. Yeah, Jimmy Joe's happy for a few months. And then when the kid can't play,
nobody's happy.
Well, now it's your fault. You offered him. I mean, I've got no sympathy for coaching staffs that make tons of talent evals, and they're wrong, and they just settle for kids. That never works.
And we've seen that.
Of course. A lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, Levy's even had a hard time getting away from the Brawls bubble a little bit. Like, it's the names.
Well, I mean, it was toxic for a little while. I don't think it is for Jeff, but
no. It's not for Kendall at this point. I mean, it killed Art Brawl's career, but
yeah. No, I think based on what I've heard, I think Lane got the offensive staff that he wanted.
I was wrong on that one because of how bad it got since then. There was a time where I think had nothing else come out that Art Brawls could have coached at the D1 level again, but that got so bad so fast after that that's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
that'd be hard to pull.
Coaching in high school now, I think. Or something.
It'd be hard to sell that to in today's environment would be almost impossible.
And he's like 65 now too.
Yeah,
starting to get a little old for it. Not always, but depending on So, I haven't really thought about Art Brawls in a while, frankly.
I know that the kids at Arkansas really like Kendall Brawls. They're impressed with what he's trying to do offensively and with the way that he coaches it and teaches it, which is exactly the same thing I hear here about Jeff Lebby. Really good teacher. Because, look, Kiffin can't be offensive coordinator all week and run the program.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have an offensive coordinator who can run your program, your week, your offense. Because you got to go to especially now with all the COVID crap and all the different things. I mean, you can't do it. Hugh Freeze says hi. It just won't work.
If I got to sit in a meeting every week, though, I think I'd really want to sit in like the Kiffin Lebby film study. That'd be the one I wanted to see. I'd be so confused. Yeah. But to just watch the planning and the diagramming and the, hey, here's the video, let's do the, hey, that guy does this and whatever.
You could then go watch a Portuguese soap opera, and you probably would come away from both with, well, I generally understand that she is sleeping with him.
Yeah, like the silent movie. It's like, okay, great.
But, yeah.
Yeah, you'd miss something occasionally, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd miss a lot.
That's more interesting to me, though, and I know this is 90% of it. Like, I would be more entertained by that than watching the really good defensive breakdown for whatever reason. Like, I'd still be enthused and like I'd be like, okay, I'll try to understand. But something about the offense is more fun.
I do think it would be interesting, like last week, to have been in on like Barry Odom looking at the LSU Mississippi State film and going
Bill Pelini, you're a moron.
You're a moron. So here's what we're going to do.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Did you see what the Arkansas kid said? That they knew every play that was coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's not good for Mike Leach.
No, it's a bad sign.
That's not good.
Yeah.
So you think State has a really? I mean,
I don't think it's.
You think
it
work. Falls apart?
Yes,
now.
yes. That's where when everybody does this thing about Chris Landry in the show that we do, I'm like, man, he called this 2 weeks in a row. He said there was one scenario where LSU loses to Mississippi State, and then exactly what happened. And then he said that he didn't predict Arkansas would win because I don't think anybody believes Arkansas was going to win. But he said that this will not do week after week. Someone's going to call a good game plan against them and take it away. And it's a really bad sign for State that
and now
Arkansas
that's on film because Arkansas did it.
Yeah, because they're not a very talented team, and they took it away. I mean, they did go back and watch it. They took it away.
So when you play the Auburn and the Georgia and the
Yeah.
Basically damn near anybody.
Damn near anybody. That's my point. Arkansas is not going to stay down like that. They're just not. They're going to get better. Ole Miss, I think, is going to get immensely better. LSU might fall off, but if you think LSU is going to become a 4-8 program, you're out of your freaking mind. I'll take that bet all day.
Yeah.
Auburn, Alabama, Texas A&M. Now, even if Texas A&M is underachieving, it's still a 6-7 win program. I mean, everybody says Kevin Sumlin underachieved, and I guess he did, but they were in the Texas Bowl or whatnot every year. They weren't going.
And Manziel had 2 good years.
They weren't going 3-9.
No.
So if it doesn't work, look, somebody's got to finish last in this division. Someone's going to have to suck because someone's going to lose a bunch of games inside the division.
You think it's State?
I do. If you told me it was somebody, I'd bet State before I'd bet on Arkansas.
And this season it's season 0 for Mike Leach too. I'm not holding him to anything, but you and I both already have stuff in the system. We both think Kentucky's going to beat him on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't win on Saturday,
who they have after that?
That's what I'm looking at. This thing can get weird for State quickly because they do have Vanderbilt, but
that's a win.
There's a chance that's their only win until the finale when they play Missouri. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but that's a possibility. That schedule's rough. They lose to Kentucky, they're 1-2. They play A&M. That could easily be 1-3. I mean, I don't know, but A&M could beat State. Then they play Alabama, 1-4. Then they play Vanderbilt, 2-4. Then they play Auburn and Georgia back-to-back. And then they play Ole Miss and Missouri.
Oh, we haven't. Oh, that was a replay. Never mind.
Yeah, you thought we were about to have a problem, didn't you?
I was like, oh, man, they're doing it again.
I mean, the only guaranteed win on that schedule is Vanderbilt. They could go to or play Missouri at home at 2-7. Probably not, but you got to give them A&M or Ole Miss.
Got to beat somebody
because they're not beating Georgia, they're not beating Alabama, they're not beating Auburn.
Here's the problem when you get to a place like State. If Leach doesn't work, like Avery asked a question in the thread. She said, "Who will LSU hire when they fire Ed?" I mean, let's be real. LSU job opens up, or people find out the LSU job's opening up. The agents' phones are ringing off the wall with clients saying, "Hey, can you get me to Baton Rouge? I want that job. I want that job." If Mississippi State opens up after it's been cratered, not quite. Yeah, they're coaches that want a payday. But are you getting the really...
If Mike Leach is not going to work, you need to fire him as quickly as possible so he doesn't turn your freaking program into an air raid program, and then you got to come out of that.
Oh, yeah.
And then recruit back to whatever it is you're doing following that. Because you get there and go, oh, my God, we can't sign – they didn't sign a running back, and all their wide receivers don't block downfield.
If you put a fat kid on a diet and he gains 15 pounds in the first year or the first month, you might want to change the diet before you go, hey, if we just give this more time. No. You don't want to give this more time because if he's going to gain 15 more the next month. And before you know it, you're going to have a mess.
So you think in history, like 5 years down the road, like people would kind of forget 2020, hopefully. They look back and go, how the hell did Mike Leach beat that LSU team that day? That was interesting.
Yeah.
That was a day.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially if LSU.
They went 3-7, LSU, Missouri, and Vanderbilt.
Unless LSU starts getting popped.
Sure, yeah.
But if LSU ends up 8-2 or something, yeah, you'll look back and go, that was just Bo.
And now I don't think LSU's going 8-2.
Yeah, but you'll just say Bo Pelini was drunk. Because apparently, talking to football people, multiple football people, that was just an atrocious plan. Just a terrible game plan.
He was just bad.
As opposed to Barry Odom's this last week, where I've talked to some people in coaching who say it was really, really good.
Yeah.
Really well executed. Didn't ask kids to do things that they couldn't do.
Look, stereotypes for a reason, and the SEC gets overblown at times. Mike Leach has never had to go week in, week out against this type of athletic defenses. He never has. We'll see what happens, but he hasn't.
It's the opposite of what Kiffin's done so far with Ole Miss's offense. This offense, for all the talk about Plumlee doing this and Plumlee doing that last year, they were not exactly lighting people on fire with drive after drive a year ago. This team has 10 touchdowns through 2 games and then 1 in overtime, so 11 but 10 regulation touchdowns in 2 games. What Kiffin's done with Matt Corral, and give Lebby credit too, what they've done with Matt Corral is remarkable. Hey, we're going to put you in position to succeed. We're going to give you, like on that last play, instead of, no, we are going to, by God, force this peg into this round hole, which is sort of what Rich Rodriguez would do. They created a situation that set up the ISO with Elijah. Remember, they motioned him back and forth a little and then slipped him out and let Matt roll out to his right where he's comfortable, make an easy throw.
Changed some eyes in the middle. The thing got Yeboah open. It did multiple things.
Did some things at the mesh point there to freeze the linebacker, let Yeboah get behind him, and then let Matt make a throw that he makes easily. I mean, that's kind of what I mean. And Matt has rewarded them by starting to play with some confidence, and now he's utilizing his arm and getting the ball into some windows. Yeah. But all of that goes hand in hand. I mean, obviously, Matt deserves a ton of credit. I'm not taking any credit away from Matt Corral. He's been great. But they've put him in a position to get great. Like we talked early in the Kentucky game, they're letting him build some confidence here. They're letting him do some things early that, hey, he can do that. He can do that. Now you ask a little more. That's coaching. And everybody says what Leach is going to do is the same old scheme and prove that it works in the SEC, and I just don't know.
Freddie Freeman hit 439 or something this season. Great.
He's had a hell of a year. He's the MVP of the National League.
Yeah. Anyway.
The question's who's the MVP of the American League, but
podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. They're with G&M. You can find out more at 662-236-2222. They also have the Immune Support Med Packs. When you go in, they're up there on the counter. Pharmacists develop a combination of vitamins and supplements designed to boost your immune system and lung health. 30-day supply of vitamin C, zinc, NAC, probiotic, and vitamin D3 to help multiple things, including GI regulation, immune regulation, and more. So whether you're in Holly Springs and nearby Tyson Drugs or on South Lamar in Oxford with G&M, 662-236-2222.
Rebel fans, now that you've seen yours truly and Mr. Parham here model Blue Delta jeans, it's time for you to punch it in the end zone and get yourself a new pair ordered today, whether it be raw denim jeans, Genos, or duck canvas-sized pants. This weekend's trip to Oxford needs to include a stop by the Oxford studio to get your next pair of custom pants ordered. The Blue Delta Oxford studio is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, or you can schedule a private fitting by reaching out to Blue Delta on social media or at info@bluedeltajeans.com. If you aren't making it to Oxford this weekend and you're ready for your next pair, same thing. Give the guys a shout. They'll get back to you and get you taken care of. So if you want to add a little, something to your wardrobe, get in touch with the people at Blue Delta. They'll take great care of you, and they'll love hearing from you, and you'll look better than I did in those. Think about it that way. And even I pulled them off a little bit to some degree. You probably will pull them off much better than that. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. We're going to be taping a Mind on My Money tomorrow. Mind on My Money is brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. They're based in Madison, Mississippi, with clients in multiple states, advisors in multiple states as well. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. They treat investing like a commodity, and decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Tell them that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fees. We're also brought to you by Dead Soxy. It's deadsoxy.com, DEADSOXY.com. They've been with us for a long time. They sponsor the Soft Verbal podcast. We'll get one of those to you as well. It's the best socks you'll ever put on your feet. And we're brought to you by the College Corner. It's your one-stop Rebel Shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area, in Ridgeland and in Flowood. And you can get in touch with them at collegecornerstore.com. They sponsor our picks, which will be up in the morning. We're all within 2 games of one another. Jeffrey and Chase have a 1-game lead on me and a 2-game lead on Zach. So everybody enters the weekend in striking distance at Neal's Picks. And we're brought to you by Jupiter Security Systems, based in Madison, Mississippi. Jupiter Security Systems provides your business with a help desk, allowing you to get software at a much cheaper price than you would by going directly to Microsoft or the different cybersecurity systems. It's ADT for your computer systems and data. It's very affordable with a flat price, no hidden fees, no hidden add-ons. For more information, call Eric at 601-519-9583 or get in touch with them at info@jupitersecurity.net.
There's a question that's not answerable yet. Brett says, should out-of-state folks cancel plans to drive in for the Bama game? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know whether you should speed them up, delay them, cancel them.
I would think you would have an answer by around 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's just a guess.
Yeah, that's my guess. Lane Kiffin said he thought it would happen tomorrow, and I would have to think that, especially if you're telling people early tomorrow, because it's going to get into the Gulf today, and you're going to have a better read on it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 1 or 2 degrees change does create different whatever, but I mean, no matter what, this thing's probably hitting west. Like by the time it comes in west geographically, north-south from Oxford, and it's going to kind of cone back to the east a little bit. So I mean, you're kind of in the path, no matter when, no matter what it does or how it does it. Let's see.
Showing this for Blake, just in case he missed it earlier. But Blake, there it is. All the camera works. I thought it would work. I researched it, and boom.
It works.
I'm very excited about the moving camera.
You do like the moving camera.
Well, I'm just pleased with my idiot self was able to solve a problem.
What's the story on the whole moose over here? What's it from?
I don't know. He's from when the kids were little, but I needed something big to sit in that chair so that I could center it.
He was not one you took with you anywhere, was he? That was like a little cubby bear thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Moses the bear.
His name was Moses?
Uh-huh.
Like Moises or Moses?
No, Moses.
Okay. Not like
it would have been a better name with Moises.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
No, that Murray's just from when the kids were little, and I needed something that resembled a person, so I was centering a screen.
Okay. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Murray has a little.
He had enough on him.
He had enough girth about him, I should say.
Still haven't moved the ULM helmet up.
I haven't moved the ULM helmet. Show people that. Where is it? It's down.
Is it down there?
Down there on the bottom.
Okay.
With the LSU football that people got upset about, Shohei Ohtani, bobblehead. Even the Cleveland Indians bobblehead. See, there's a lot of stuff here.
What's the Indians' mascot name?
Slider.
Okay. Would that still be sitting there had they won the 2016 World Series?
Probably be broken.
Okay.
I mean, being honest.
Lane has a really good tan on that bobblehead.
He does have a good tan.
Yeah.
We can go back to that.
The Ed Oliver bobblehead is still the best bobblehead up there. That thing is so good.
We got to go back to that screen. Yep. Let's see. There's Lane.
If you're watching on or you're listening to the podcast, our apologies.
Yeah, if you're listening to the podcast, that's on you. There's Ed and
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ed on the horse is really good.
It's probably disconcerting for the viewer. A lot of dizziness there.
Yeah. Just saw this from Ross Dellinger. He has a little spreadsheet on when everybody starts because, amazingly, everyone has not started yet. The Mountain West and the Big Ten, October 24th, so still a couple weeks away from that. The Pac-12 on November the 6th, and then the MAC on November the 4th. So the MAC only playing 6 games. They're doing 6 weeks of action. Pac-12 7, Big Ten 9.
It's a miracle.
CUSA played out-of-conference games. ACC has 1 out-of-conference game. The Big 12 has 1 out-of-conference games. And then the American and the Sun Belt also playing full 12-game schedules with 8 and 4 as typical. So, yeah, there's that. Just see.
Someone says, Adam Gardner says, should we root for a cancellation so everyone stays healthy and we avoid a beating? I mean, look, if you're looking at this from a football standpoint, I guess so. You get Arkansas next week. You get Auburn after that. I don't know.
Sure.
Then you got to play them
later.
Yeah, got to play them instead.
And you don't get a bye week
instead of having an open date.
Yeah,
before,
your bye week's in week 3, not week whatever that is.
It's 1/2 dozen of the other.
I think you're better off playing the game
6 1/2 dozen of the other.
I do. I think you're better off playing the game now.
Yeah, I think you just play, get it done. I'd rather play Alabama before they play Georgia than get them after. Just me. I'd rather play Alabama right now when they're still working on some things. Like, there's a chance they're going to go into this game because I think the whole he wants to kill Kiffin is overrated. And then the other thing I think is, well, he doesn't want Kiffin to get his program going. Kiffin is not his headache right now. Kirby Smart's his headache.
Which is next week.
I promise you, if you told Saban, hey, look, here's the deal. You can beat the ever-living hell out of Ole Miss, but you're going to lose to Georgia by 4, or you can squeak by Ole Miss and it look a little sloppy and Lane gets a bunch of attention and then you beat Georgia. I promise you, he goes, hey, Lane, Merry Christmas, buddy.
Yeah.
I promise you that.
It's all good. Yeah.
Just don't think it. I just don't think that's a big issue right now. I just, whatever happened at the end of that is over. At the end of the day, Kiffin helped the Alabama program a lot. He modernized their offense.
Did the thing that he talks about.
He did what he was hired to do. I think they wished he'd been a little more dialed in at the end, but whatever.
Some of this, I'm going to bring this up in the close because I don't want to make a big deal out of it because it's kind of whatever, and I'm not, frankly, as invested as I thought I would be. You see this thing going around Twitter about defensive pass interference yards in the NFL this season? See this chart?
Mm-mm.
So, as you're quite aware, we have a little bit of a complex. Saints fans think they're being attacked by the refs every single week. It's a thing we do.
Yep.
Sometimes true, sometimes not true, probably, but nonetheless.
Okay.
Defensive pass interference yards through 4 games this season. Number 2 in the NFL on most defensive pass interference yards, meaning when you're on defense, you're getting flagged, is the New England Patriots with, I don't have a number on it, but I'm going to say around 80 yards.
Okay.
Something like that. The number 1 team in the NFL on being flagged for defensive pass interference is the New Orleans Saints at 250 yards.
Oh, wow.
Almost 3 times what the next team has in defensive pass. Now, some of that is they attack the Saints deep, and that creates a lot of yards. But nonetheless, found it kind of interesting there. It's just really strange statistic on something that Saints fans do complain about nonstop. So, let's see. College golf season got underway, by the way. Just pass this along for anybody. Ole Miss women tied for 3rd right now. It's technically an intercollegiate, but I think it's just the 12 SEC teams playing one another, or at least 12 of the 14 playing one another, given the current state of things. No, all 14. So basically, an SEC tournament in October. Ole Miss is tied with South Carolina right now at number 3. So anyway,
see where the Derek Chauvin has been.
I saw that.
Bonded out.
I saw that in the thread earlier.
Posted $1 million bail, no longer in custody.
Yeah, I haven't really seen around what that means or anything yet. The pre-sale is over. I actually talked to them this morning about normal inventory, so that will be back up very, very soon. And you can keep firing away. We've got special edition items as well. So, yeah, we'll get all this stuff shipped out, and then we'll go from there. And from that point, there will be no more delays. You just put an order and get your stuff all the time moving forward. So we appreciate that. And that's how we're doing it. So, anyway, we will be back tomorrow night for our hand raise guys. We'll walk some Major League Baseball playoffs. We'll figure out, by that point, definitely whatever Ole Miss is doing as far as playing Alabama and win. And we'll take your calls. So thanks for hanging out today, and we will talk to you again tomorrow.